Michael's calling from California. He's a theist who evidently listed his own names as pronouns, so doesn't know what a pronoun is. But Michael says, I'm a Christian and don't think one can prove God. It comes down to faith. God doesn't want people if you have to prove it. What's the harm in believing faith is like car insurance? Wow. Welcome, Michael. How are you?
How are you?
Fine.
So I would just, yeah, that's, I mean, Matt, I've listened to your shows for a long time. Actually, I believe in what you say as far as, I mean, my personal opinion, a lot of people won't agree as a Christian, but at least with me, I do not think you can actually prove the way an atheist wants to prove that God exists. And to me, as a Christian, I don't think particularly, God really wants people to have to prove uh, that He exists. I think He's looking for people that want to have faith, and uh,
Why?
and so,
Is there
well,
any claim that someone couldn't believe with and just say, I'm taking this on faith?
what do you mean? I'm not quite understanding.
Okay. I could just say, I'm going to take it on faith that God is real, right?
Hmm.
Can I just take it on faith that five other gods are also real?
Uh, well, if you believe in the Bible, it
No, no,
does
no,
say that there's
no, no,
other.
no, 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 no. You don't
No,
get
no.
to go back.
If you have faith,
I'm
if you
sorry.
have
I'm
faith,
sorry.
that's what.
Yeah, I'm asking specific questions, and I'm pointing. You're going to a bias that doesn't exist. I asked. You can just believe that God. You can just believe that God exists based on faith, right? And you said yes. And I asked, can I also believe that five other gods also believe and base that on faith?
If you have if you're convincing and you have
This
faith
is a
in
yes or
what
no
you get.
question.
Well, no, 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 no. I think your faith depends on what you're reading. If you have faith in what
No,
you're
no,
reading,
nope, 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 nope. You see, you just described it. You have faith in what you're reading. Faith is not what you're reading. Faith is the confidence that you have in the conclusion you reached based on what you're reading. Because it's not a good
okay. If
reason.
I read a book, Matt,
If
if I read a
faith,
book, if I read
why are
Matt,
you
if I
just
read Matt,
wait? I don't need you to read a
Matt,
book,
Matt,
and I
Matt,
don't
wait,
need
wait.
you to talk. I need you to answer my question, which is if it's okay to take God A and believe it based on faith, is that also okay for God B, C, and D?
If you have faith in if you have faith in what is bringing your faith to it, and that's what you believe in, you have faith in it.
No,
Sure, it
Michael.
all comes down. It all
Okay.
comes. No, no,
So,
no.
so
It all
now,
comes
so
down to.
now, based on you, Michael, I'm now believing three gods, and they're all equally justified, and they can't all exist. So how do I resolve that?
Well, there is. Well, the Bible. Well, if you have faith, which I do, and my
I
faith
don't
comes
care
from
about
the
the
Bible.
Bible. You don't need to reference the Bible at all. I'm saying, it, is it possible for me to have faith in something and be wrong?
Sure, it's like that's
Oh,
one my. That's why I
no,
call.
just
That's why I call.
stop.
That's why I
Stop.
asked you what.
Stop talking. Stop talking. When I ask the question, answer the question you're asked. It's for a good reason. So, if I can, through faith, believe in something that's true, and through faith, believe in something that's not true, which means it's possible for me to be wrong, why do you think that faith is a good method for determining what you should believe if it can lead to true beliefs and false beliefs?
If you get the information that you believe in and you think it's faith, then and it possibly could. What I'm saying is faith doesn't mean you have faith in it, but it doesn't mean absolutely without a shadow of a doubt, without knowing. Like right now, we're on Earth. So if I believe in something that I have.
I muted you, Michael. I didn't mention anything about absolute certainty. We don't have to talk about Earth. The point here is that if you believe something based on faith, and you could be right or you could be wrong, then what is the method that we use to tell whether or not
Listen,
you are in fact correct?
Matt, I listened to you quietly, and I'm wanting
Okay, I'm going to try this again. Listen to me and think. If you can believe something on faith and be correct, and if you can also believe something on faith and be incorrect, what method should we use to tell whether or not that belief is correct?
I don't think that's the point. If I'm coming on the show and I'm telling you, you can't.
I'm going to try this one last time. If you can use faith to come to two different beliefs, one of which is true and one of which is false, then faith is by definition an unreliable path to truth because it could be false. So if you believe in a God based on faith and somebody else believes in a God based on faith, how do we tell which of you is correct?
So I'm
Because
saying you
faith
can't. You
is
can't. You
okay.
can't. If I'm coming on your show,
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know why you're so irritated. You've now acknowledged that faith is not a good path to truth and that it's not possible to tell which faith based belief is correct. So, why then
finish.
do, why then do you think God wants people to believe based on a method that isn't reliable?
That is a personal belief. Does it mean? Am I coming to you? If I'm admitting to you, it's a personal belief of mine, and I'm a Christian. It's a personal belief. Am I saying? Am I trying to tell you that it's absolutely 1,000% right?
Okay, let's try this again. I don't give a flying fuck whether or not you believe in a God. I just care about whether or not you care if you have good reason for your belief. And if you are in fact correct about your belief, I would like to know. Because if you have a good way to warrant belief in a God, I'd like to know that. If you are admitting that you don't have a good way, and you are admitting that you have no way to demonstrate that you're correct, why should we listen to you at all? Why should we care what you believe if you don't care if your beliefs are true?
Well, what is the definition of faith?
Faith for me is the excuse people give for believing something without a good reason. But the question I asked you, which now that I've
Well, can
answered
other
yours,
people have a different? Can
now
every
that I've answered, now that I, Michael, do
can
you think
see?
talking,
You're getting that. Can
Michael,
other?
Michael, do you think talking over me will ever fucking work? Do you think if I'm in the middle of a thought and you decide to just talk a little bit louder, that it will ever work? The question that I asked you, now that I've answered yours, well, congratulations, you've distracted me from my question.
Well, I'm just telling you, faith is has everybody's got different interpretations of faith. Would you agree?
There are lots of different
Would
usages of the word faith. Yes.
Okay, but would you agree that everybody's got a different interpretation of faith? So what I'm telling you is
No.
having faith. Let me talk. I've not interrupted you once. Having
Oh, that's a
faith does.
lie. So that's a lie, and I'm going to mute you now because I have very little patience for liars. The question um, that you didn't spend a minute to even pause and think about: if faith is not a reliable path to truth, why are you willing? Why don't you care whether your beliefs are true? There's the question. Why don't you care if your beliefs are true?
Because you know what? I look at it. It's like I told the call screener. What is the harm? It's like car insurance. When you get car insurance on your car, are you expecting to get into a car wreck? No.
I'm sorry,
But
Michael.
you have the
Michael,
car
you don't have
insurance
car
to
insurance.
cover you.
No.
What is the
So
what
Michael,
would be the
Michael,
harm? What would be
Michael,
see now
Michael,
you're
if you'll
see
shut up,
you put me on mute
If
and
you'll
you're
shut up, Michael, if you'll shut up, I'll tell you what the harm is and why it's not like car insurance. If you buy car insurance from Geico, is that the same as buying car insurance from Jim Bob down the street?
I'm not going to buy unless he's an insurance agent. I'm not going to buy from him.
How do you know?
He's gonna have proof. He's gonna have proof that he is a sales rep for the company or his company. He's going to have
Right.
licenses.
And his companies, there's going to be evidence, right, that points you to which car insurance company it is, how reliable they are, and exactly what kind of coverage is there. All of that is evidence
Yeah,
that
but
you
I'm
can.
getting.
And hang on, and all of that is evidence that all of us can see and interact with, right?
You're right. But
So
what? But
where's
the
that
question is,
evidence? Where is that evidence for God?
I I don't even know why you're asking me that. I came on the show and I told you.
I know
I
you don't know
admit.
why I'm asking you that. That's because you have no understanding about how one should go about determining if their beliefs are true.
And I came on your show with a different approach. I came on your show
It
to
doesn't matter
tell
what
you.
approach you
I
came
agree.
on
I
with.
agree.
This is the approach.
I absolutely,
It
Matt.
doesn't
Matt.
matter. It doesn't matter. See, you're never going to be able to talk over me, ever, ever. But it doesn't matter if you came on with a different approach. If you can't demonstrate that your beliefs are correct, what use is there for us to keep talking?
When I'm asking you, what is faith bad?
I'm sorry.
Is having
The question I asked is, if you can't demonstrate the truth of your claims, why should we keep talking to you?
well. Was I trying to prove my claims, or was I trying to tell you this is about faith?
Sorry, if you can't prove your claims, why should we keep talking
All
to you?
right, Matt.
That's
We're
the
done.
question.
We're done, Matt. We're done. Bye.
Yep, we are. Bye.
He must
Oh
be fun
man,
at parties. I mean, he
it's all
starts
fake.
with Pascal. I just don't get that. He's playing a poker hand, and that's good enough for him, and he admitted it right off the bat.
Yeah.
And then he spilled into his double standard for his own faith versus faith for other deities, etc. And then he admitted to you that he would want evidence in scenario A. And when you then related that back to his own faith claim, he just yelled at you. Uh, wow.
I'm so angry. When we believed, and I don't know that we have the same answers. To what extent were you convinced that you had the type of evidence that should convince somebody else versus you had some personal evidence and you were operating on faith to extend that?
Is this a
Like, do you think
rhetorical
you could have
question?
demonstrated it?
Or you
Well, I mean, there's
are you
plenty of
asking?
yeah, no, no, there's plenty of theists that I knew who thought they could demonstrate that God was real. And I might have been one of those at some point. And at another point, it got to, oh, I can't demonstrate to anybody else. Only God can reveal himself to you. I can't provide you any evidence for it. And for me, that is part of what started the falling away.
Yeah, in my own life, a lot of it really did lean into personal experience. I had shoehorned in some correlation causation errors. Here's evidence this was obviously divine, etc. Um, I didn't know a lot about my faith, even though I knew it was true. I knew a lot of verses that had been cherry picked, but I didn't know the Bible. Does that make sense? Like I knew pieces of the Bible quite well, but I didn't know my Bible. And it was knowing my Bible that made me an atheist, at least in regard to Christianity. But
Yeah.
mostly when I approached other people in terms of sharing my faith, it was a personal faith. It was a relationship. It's not a religion, it's a relationship. Jesus lives in my heart. That was the angle that I usually took rather than trying to get into, look at the trees and look at the measurements of the earth between the sun, etc. I didn't do any of that.
Hey, do you think this clip just fell out of a coconut tree? No. It did. Okay, now technically I did build the channel into a coconut tree and it did fall out. And also that our internet router is up there. Actually, in a lot of ways, this production fell out of a coconut tree, but we could only afford that because people like you supported us for $5 a month over where is that, Eric?
Patreon.com/call the line, and
That's right.
Jimmy will,
You got it.
yeah, be grateful. Yeah.
We have an exclusive patron podcast over there. Check it out. Thumbs up with it, Eric. We talked about this in the meeting. We have to both.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Okay, there we go.